So we got the Florida Panthers starting off this week pretty good. They are now 2-0. And while that is a good thing for the Florida sports, I cannot say the same with the major sports, and that is the NFL. The NFL, yeah, we are struggling without our key players. And we're going to start off with the Miami Dolphins because the Miami Dolphins are the biggest concern right now in the South Florida sports because they have lost yet again 3 in a row. First against the Bengals, then against the Jets, and now today against the Vikings. So the final score in this game is 24-16 Minnesota. To be fair, the Minnesota team has played pretty good. In fact, I say they are better than most people would have predicted. Because of the fact that they have some good young talent like Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, and Kirk Cousins is leading the way. So Jason Sanders with the 44-yard field goal, Irv Smith Jr. with the 1-yard pass from Kirk Cousins, which is 7-3 Minnesota. Greg Joseph with 34-yard field goal. That's all in the second quarter, by the way. And the fourth quarter, 4 touchdowns. Adam Thielen, 2-yard pass from Kirk Cousins. Mike Gesicki, 4 yards from Teddy Bridgewater. Dalvin Cook to make it a 53-yard run. And then Mike Gesicki with 3-yard pass from Teddy. This was not good because Terran Armstead with a toe injury that could not play. He was one of our key players, did not play. This team is so injury prone that it's almost as bad as what it was in 2007. We were going from 1972 Miami Dolphins to 2007 Miami Dolphins this quickly. That is a major concern. But that does not explain the level of terrible plays, awful defenses, and more importantly, the situation that happens with Jalen Waddle. So Teddy Bridgewater comes in to sub in for Skylar Thompson because he had a thumb injury. It was bad enough where he couldn't play the game, and that was only his first start of this young career, right? So he couldn't play for the rest of the game. Bridgewater for the majority of the game was awful. There was a lot of wide open passes that was poorly timed, poorly thrown, a lot of incomplete passes, and because of it, the Vikings somewhat capitalized because the defense was able to step up, even though we had another major injury, which we're going to pray for him right now, and because of this injury, he is out for the remainder of the year. And his name is Nick Needham. He is done for the year. It is reported that he has a torn Achilles. So praying for a speedy recovery for a poor man, and hopefully he gets better as soon as possible. But majority of the game, it's been pretty boring. A lot of 3 and outs. This is the most 3 and outs I've seen since the Super Bowl a few years ago. It was bad. It was so bad that I started to play on my phone more than I was watching football. But, so, we were catching up, right? We were down 16-3. They missed the PAT. And Mike Gesicki with his touchdown. So, during the next couple of drives, we were actually rolling. Teddy Bridgewater making some good moves, good passes, and then there was 3rd and 19. A good pass to Jalen Waddle, and then he fumbled the ball at their own side. And then just 2 plays later, after that fumble, Dalvin Cook runs it in for the score, and that's 53 yards. That cost us the game clearly, and Jalen Waddle knows it too. It is uncharacteristic of him to fumble the football, but my gosh, this team is a mess if it's not healthy. But thankfully, Tua Tagovailoa is playing next week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if the game will be prime time anymore, considering the fact that the Dolphins are underachieving. But who knows? It's that's where it stands right now in this time of the recording. they are still on primetime football. That is Sunday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers, in which they have won the game today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Miami Dolphins. Inter Miami did not play this week, only on Sunday, which we already talked about last week. Miami FC, they have won the game 1-0 against Detroit, and that was in the stoppage time in Jaquan Rivas with a nice goal, and that's all she wrote. I have nothing else to say about this one because it is just a sloppy game for the most part. 47% of possession Detroit has compared to 53% that Miami has. 5 shots, 2 on target for Detroit compared to 7 shots, 2 on target compared to what Miami has. And that's pretty much it. With this win, we did move up to 6th place, which means we would, I'm not sure how this playoff format worked, but I think we play the Tampa Bay Rowdies on the road. And we have beat them on the road before this season. So I think we play the Tampa Bay Rowdies on the road in St. Petersburg. That part, I have no clue. So let's talk about the preseason, the Miami Heat preseason game. Because in just 3 days, we have a game. And it's against the Chicago Bulls, our season opener in FTX Arena. Oh boy. If there's one thing that this weekend taught me, and that's I'm really excited for Miami Heat basketball. Baseball was so miserable, and right now football has been pretty miserable. But the first preseason game, we had started off with the L, and it was against Minnesota, which, Minnesota kind of owns us with basketball. But it is 121-111 Minnesota Timberwolves. As for the box score for Miami Heat, Caleb Martin with 12 points, Amir Yursevin with 11 points, Bam Adebayo with 22 points, Kyle Lowry 4 points, and Tyler Hero with 22 points. And for the rest of the team who are trying to make their way to the roster, Jamal Cain with 2 points, Haywood Highsmith with 7 points, Nikola Jovic with 5 points, Dwayne Devin with 2 points, Orlando Robinson with 4 points, Duncan Robinson with 5 points, 5 points, Max Drews with 2 points, Marcus Garrett with 7 points, and then Drew Smith with 6 points. Defense needed to be just a tad bit better, but the shooting has been really phenomenal. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this as the time goes on. Or actually, we'll just talk about it right now. Because the next game was actually a primetime preseason game on ESPN, and that's against the Brooklyn Nets. As we beat them 109-80, as the roster was Haywood Highsmith with 0 points, but with 5 rebounds and 5 assists. Jimmy Butler with 2 points. Bam Adebayo with 17 points. It's clear as day he's going to make the roster. Same with Lowry and Strus, who are also going to make the cut for the roster. Lowry has 15 points and Max Strus with 10 points. But there is a player that is an honorable mention, and this guy deserved to be talked about more, because the way how he's playing, I feel as though he deserves some time to talk about. Jamal Cain, first game, 2 points. In this game against the Brooklyn Nets, he has played 27 minutes, and he has 11 rebounds and 15 points, which means he has a double-double. This kid can play the freaking game of basketball, and we're going to talk more about this kid as the recap goes on. But Jamal Cain has something to prove to the Miami Heat organization, and oh boy, was I really impressed. He was the sleeper. Nobody really thought about him as the preseason went on. People were talking more about PJ Tucker, which is, that's the media's agenda. And then we would talk more about Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, and the big name Tyler Hero, who has recently had a contract extension People are saying, "Oh no, the Heat are overpaying him," blah blah blah. And then just recently, Jordan Poole of the Golden State Warriors had a contract extension. Nobody said a word. Just saying. Darius Days from the Houston Rockets coming in with only scoring 2 points. Nikola Jovic with 10 points in, with his 5 assists and 3 rebounds with 2 steals. Orlando Robinson with donuts, but with 2 rebounds and 3 assists. Duncan Robinson with 12 points. He has shown that he is coming back as his prime. Marcus Garrett, who is a shooting guard, with 2 points. Drew Smith with 12 points. And another guy, Jamari Boye, he has scored 12 points. That's all against the Brooklyn Nets. This one on NBA TV was a good game to watch. I didn't care who wins this one because, again, it's preseason, and people really don't pay attention much to the preseasons these days because who's gonna make the roster. And if they win, great. If they lose, that's fine too. Because at the end of the day, when you're playing a preseason game, you're only doing it just to make. You're only playing to make the roster. You're not playing just to win the game. Of course, you want to win the game, but more importantly, making a roster counts more. Haywood Highsmith, this game against the Memphis Grizzlies, with the final score was 111 to 108. Haywood Highsmith with 15 points. Orlando Robinson with 9 points. Gabe Vincent getting his minutes in, 8 points. Duncan Robinson looking like the boy who was playing like he was in the NBA Finals and the NBA playoffs years ago. 29 points, just 1 point away of 30. And then Marcus Garrett with 4 points. And then on the bench, and guess who it is? Jamal Cain. 19 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. 19 points. And he has played 38 minutes into this preseason game against Memphis. 38 minutes. That's 2 away of playing 40 minutes. At that point, he deserved a 2-way contract with the Miami Heat, and they have signed a 2-way contract. He has earned a spot to play for the Miami Heat roster. Darius Day only had 2 rebounds. That's pretty much it. Nikola Jovic with 13 points with 8 rebounds. Drew Smith played pretty good. He only had 3 assists in this game, 2 points. And Jamari Boye with 12 points. Next, against the Houston Rockets, we have won this game 118 to 110. As the people, Haywood Highsmith, 6 points. Dwayne Dedmon with 2 points. Gabe Vincent with 10 points. Victor Oladipo getting some minutes in, 8 points. And Max Strus with 24 points. Jamal Cain with 31 minutes in. He has scored 15 points. He's still playing really well. Nikola Jovic with 15 points as well with 12 rebounds, so that's his double-double. Orlando Robinson with 0 points and 1 rebound. So Robinson didn't do much in this game with just 6 minutes in. Dwayne Dedmon with 14 points. I keep forgetting. Marcus Garrett with 0 points, just 2 assists and 2 rebounds and 1 steal. Michael Mulder with 3 points. Drew Smith with 15 points in this game with 26 minutes played with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Sorry for a little cut there. It was a friend of mine coming in. But next was Jamari Boye, which scored 6 points with 2 rebounds and 1 assist and 2 steals. And that was against the Houston Rockets. And finally, our last preseason game was last Wednesday. Was against the New Orleans Pelicans. In this game, Jimmy Butler with 12 points. Caleb Martin with 9 points. Bam Adebayo with 25 points. Kyle Lowry with 5 points. And Tyler Hero, 23 points. Jamal Cain only scored 2 points with 2 rebounds. Haywood Highsmith 3 points. Nikola Jovic 6 points. Dwayne Dedmon with 8 points. Gabe Vincent with 6 points. Victor Oladipo with just 2 points. Robinson, Duncan Robinson, played for 15 minutes and only scored 2 points. Max Drews played 17 minutes and he has scored 11 points. Drew Smith and Jamari Boye scoring combined 6 points there. So, but yeah, that is the Miami Heat preseason. As we look at the roster, of course, Jimmy Butler is going to make it in. But the people who have signed the deal, contracts, Drew Smith playing now, Nikola Jovic, and Jamal Cain making the roster. So here is the final roster. Bam Adebayo coming as, of course, the one. Jimmy Butler is the legend and our leader in this crew. Jamal Cain making the roster on a 2-way deal. Dwayne Dedmon, our legend, the myth, the leader, and the coach. And the heart and soul of the Miami community, Adonis Haslam. Tyler Hero making an extension. Haywood Highsmith. And to think that he was only there for the 2-way, not the 2-way, but the 10-day contracts as the team was short-staffed on the COVID thing. He made his presence felt. And he has made the team because of it. Nikola Jovic to make the team. Kyle Lowry, Caleb Martin, Victor Oladipo, Duncan Robinson, Drew Smith making the 2-way deal. Max Drews, Gabe Vincent, and Omer Yurtseven. That is the final roster. 16 players. 2 of them are on a 2-way deal, so if one gets hurt, they can come in and sub in from if there was a case for a emergency. So that's what happens when you're on a 2-way deal. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I actually don't know for what happens with the 2-way deal. But this Wednesday, 3 more days, Chicago Bulls. And then on Friday nights, it is a national televised game. It is against the Boston Celtics. And it is going to be an interesting game to watch. And let's go back to talk about football. For some reason, considering, I could not watch this game. ESPN did not allow me to because supposedly it's a blackout restriction. However, I can watch everything else. It made 0 sense. So I can't tell you the details of the game at all. So I'm only going to tell you what's happened with what's ESPN saying. Frank Laston Jr. 5-year pass for Tyler Van Dyke. We're playing against Virginia Tech Hokies in Virginia Tech. My buddy was actually in this game, so shout out to him if you come across this video. 7-0 Miami. Andres Borregales 10-0 Miami. The second quarter, Colby Young 17-yard pass from Tyler Van Dyke, 17-0. And Andres Borregales 25-yard field goal. Fourth quarter, it's been almost Hokies. Malachi Thomas, 14-yard pass from Grant Wells to make it a closer game, 27. And at Grant Wells with a 3-yard pass, a 3-yard run to make it a 20-14 game. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all I could say because I can't really tell you the full details. But for the look at this, game, Van Dyke has played better in this game. And we're finally, after what felt like an eternity, have finally come back in the win column. Our last time we have taken a lead was back in September 10 when we played against Southern Miss. And that was only a month ago. More than a month ago. So that felt like forever. But thankfully it didn't make it longer than it seemed like. We have breaking news for Inter Miami. Actually, a couple breaking news. We are playing against New York City FC tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. at Citi Field. The original venue was going to be at Red Bull Arena, but considering the Mets have been eliminated from the playoffs against the San Diego Padres, the team was permitted to go play at Citi Field instead of Red Bull Arena. And you have a half and half reaction. On one hand, people are happy that we're playing at New York City, not Red Bull Arena. On the other half, that means more traveling. So, yeah, getting their own stadium is much needed, because you can't want to play on a baseball turf on the MLS pitch, especially the playoff game. I understand that it's your home city, right? But wanting to play in a baseball stadium, that's just bizarre. Hopefully next, because I'm hearing from the Into Miami chat, which was a couple of weeks ago, that New York City FC is expected to make a public announcement on something next month. I wonder if the stadium thing has something to do with it. I hope so. I really hope so, because they need it so badly, especially now that they are the MLS Cup winners, and they are going to defend their MLS Cup championship throughout the playoffs, and we'll just see what happens. So tomorrow night, New York City FC versus Inter Miami in Citi Field. I am not attending this game because for reasons I will not get discussed on video. Marlins baseball season is over. We've already recapped them last week. And yeah, folks. Yeah, so FAU. Let's quickly talk about FAU. We're not done with football just yet. FIU has lost against UTSA 10-30, which is pretty typical. FAU has won the game against Rice Owls. They had come back from behind after losing 14-0 from the first quarter, as Bradley Rose their 70-yard pass from TJ McMahon, 7-0 Rice, and then Ari Broussard 3-yard run, 14-0. Second quarter, Larry McCannon 5-yard run. Marcus Suarez with a 34-yard field goal to make it 14-10. And then the touchdown in the fourth quarter, which was a game-winning touchdown, was Jamal Adrian, 18-yard pass from Nicole C. Perry, 14-17 for FAU Owls, as they have won against Rice. And that's pretty much it for that one. So, folks, one more team to talk about, and it's the winner of the week, and they made a big impact. The Florida Panthers. I know we didn't talk much about the preseason because really a preseason really don't really much. But yeah, 3-4 we lost to the Hurricanes. 3-2 we lost against the Lightning, we won against the Lightning rather, and then 5-2 we lost against the Lightning. But yeah, now we get to the regular season, and for the first game, we had played against the New York Islanders, the season opener in Long Island, New York, not New Jersey. My goodness. In the first period alone, nobody has scored. There were a few times where it has been close, but in the second period, on the deflection of Lou Surian, it was the first goal of the year. It was deflected, and I think it was Rakos Gudis with the pass deflection to Los Surian, 1-0 Florida. Then the third period, Noah Dobson on a power play goal to make it 1-1, and that was a one-timer. That was a nice goal by the Islanders. But 30 seconds later, immediate response, and around the net goal, as Hornquist was going around the net, as the goalie of the New York Islanders was caught off guard, and then Hornquist was able to get it in on the assist from Ryan Lombard. And then in the end of the game, to put the game away, it was our newest addition from the trade sign-in, Matthew Tkachuk. First goal as a Panther, empty net. This kid, we like this kid, but everyone else does not like him because he is a hot-headed player, and as he trash talks in other teams, as he's pretty effective too. What he does is he is going to say something to the other players on the opposing side, and he's gonna get them frustrated, get them angry, and what that does mentally, it's going to get them pissed off, and they're going to make mistakes. That is the goal for Matthew Tkachuk. He's always done that with the Calgary Flames, and it's proven pretty good there because they're really beating the crap out of Tkachuk, and they did it more from Buffalo. And in this game, this was a good game to watch. There have been 7 goals this game, 4 from the Florida Panthers, in which we won, and 3 from the Buffalo Sabres. Alex Tuck to make it the first one for Buffalo. A few minutes later, it was Colin White with the first goal. Matthew Tkachuk adding on near the end of the second period. That's his second. 2-1 Florida Panthers. But a response from Zemgus Gorgensons. I apologize if I get the name wrong. Ties the game up 2-2. And second period comes. There's a power play goal from Aaron Ekblad, who has been injured a month and a half last season, near the end of the season, going towards the playoffs. So he's back up. It was power play goal. Then next, it's a former Sabre, Brandon Montour, with his power play goal against Buffalo. And then next, near the end of the second period, it was Rasmus Dahlin, 4-3. Third period, there's been a lot of action, a lot of goal saves, and nearly adding on to our late too. And one of which almost was a goal that could have sealed the game too. But in the end, nobody scored in the third period, and there might be. And this happened in the second period. There might be goal. I know it's early. It's still a very long way to go. But we might have a not the goal of the year, but save of the year by Spencer Knight. What happened was there was a pass from Buffalo Sabres going. I apologize again. But there was a cross ice pass from Buffalo Sabres, and Spencer Knight's trying to do everything he can to save the puck. He had to literally stretch out I think it was his left leg? I'm not quite, I didn't see from the, well, I did see, but I kind of forgot which leg it was. But he had to stretch out so far to make sure the puck did not go across the line to the goal. And he was here, the puck's coming this way, here comes the leg, gets it under before the puck goes across the line to make it in. That was one of the best saves I've seen yet. It's only the first couple of games. It's only early. But yeah, at the end of it all, Florida Panthers takes 4-3 win over the Buffalo Sabres. They are now 2-0 to start the year. Paul Maurice, pretty good so far. So I don't know. It's only early. But at the end of the game, there was some scrums and some fights going on. And again, it's mostly on Matthew Tkachuk, saying some things and then making some bad decisions against Tkachuk, pushing him, beating the crap at each other. Our next game is tomorrow night against the Boston Bruins, but at the same time, Inter Miami play. So I'm going to be focusing more on the Inter Miami game. It's a playoff game. And then after that, it is national television against the Philadelphia Flyers. It is on TNT. And another primetime game. That's right, 2 primetime games in a row, unless you have ESPN Plus, against the Tampa Bay Lightning. So there's going to be some bad blood in that game against these both teams. And I'm curious to see how Matthew Tkachuk is going to react against the Tampa Bay Lightning and see how the season's going to go through. And this week is going to be exciting to watch. We got the returning Tua Tagovailoa. Inter Miami playing tomorrow against New York City FC. That's a big one. Tomorrow night is a big game to watch. And another game to watch is Wednesday night, Friday night, and Sunday night. Those, mark down the dates: Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Most if not all, are primetime games. Right? Tomorrow night we got the playoff game. Wednesday night is the primetime game for the Florida Panthers, and the season opener with the Miami Heat. Friday night, Boston versus Miami at FTX Arena. And then Sunday, this is why I said mostly, if not all, because we don't know if the game's going to be flexed out on Sunday night on NBC. We don't know for sure. But that is the day to watch, because Tua's coming back against the Pittsburgh Steelers, against his former coach, who is now defensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Brian Flores. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video, folks. Pretty disappointing day for the Miami Dolphins, but good start for the Florida Panthers, and playoff game for Inter Miami. This is where Miami Sports of the Week gets prime, gets really hot, because I'm all in, unlike the Marlins, where it's just been, a lot of downhills. Most if not all made the playoffs this season. Not the Dolphins, but in the calendar year 2022. This is the last time, I promise. So in the calendar year 2022, right? We got 4, right? If you're not including the Miami SC team, then that's understandable. But 4, right? 3 major lives, 4 for everything else. We got the Miami Heat making the playoffs, almost made it to the NBA Finals. We got the Florida Panthers winning the President's Cup, made the playoffs, and made it to the second round, and ultimately gets swept by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Inter Miami making the playoffs the second time in the franchise history, and then Miami FC. So, and we made some pretty incredible trades for the Miami Dolphins to make up to try to upgrade their offensive line core and to help around Tua. Marlins still the same issue, so I'm curious about this offseason and what's going to happen for baseball. And that's pretty much it. 2022 has been really, very good. It's been a very good year. So in this Miami year, I hope that we are the team to be reckoned with in the NHL teams as well. But really, of course, you have to acknowledge the Miami Heat, because I think they are the team to watch for this season. I think for all Miami sports, the Miami team to watch is the Miami Heat. They're going to make their way to the NBA Finals this season, and I think they could do it with the right strategies, the right tools. I think they could do it, and they will do it. And to be optimistic about this season, as they have really good young talent around Jimmy Butler, who has to have help. That's going to do it for this video, folks. If you liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe for more content, because Miami TVG has your back. When he does, he'll be right there with the entertainment you deserve. Vamos into Miami, and let's go Heat, baby. Good night, everybody.